My child should be grateful to pay rent and any other bills that I ask them to pay. I raise them. So says this commenter. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. He or she writes, question, manipulation or helping his mother, give or get out? Is dad helping mom raise her children? No. Why so much pain and blame on the woman who chose to give you life, give you opportunities for better life than hers? So what if you give money today? Tomorrow you will be a better man because you focus on mom's need today. Just do it quietly. I did it for 2 years while my mom chose not to work, paid the rent and phone bill. I was miserable and had no life. My life is better even after mom has passed on. Focus on charity and that missing black man who wouldn't even help raise his black son. This is an interesting comment. Respectfully, for a number of reasons. Um, you know, so again, I go back to the first question I would ask, and you don't have to answer. This is more of a rhetorical question. Um, you know. Uh, Well, let me start out by saying this. Um, when you wrote your post or your response, you said, there's a single mom raising a child. They should be grateful. Why is that? What is that about? It sounds like you have more animosity towards the child that you chose to bring into this world than you do towards the person who left, the man who left. And so that is sort of um, keeping score and passing it on, passing the baton on, because someone left you, someone that you chose to bring a child into this world with, and they left you. And that, to me, that sounds like anger, anger which does not rightfully belong to your child. So I do feel like that anger is displaced. And I don't know you, I don't know your situation, but I'm telling you from what I hear from your comment, like, I'm a single mom. That you chose that, or that happened to you for whatever reason. Either way, you chose to keep your child and raise them. Your child does not owe you anything as a result of that. That's number one. So I think there's a lot of this mentality that my child owes me for bringing them into this world and raising. No, they don't. You made a decision, or you made a decision that had consequences. Either way, you chose that, not them. Number two, they should be grateful and be charitable and do this thing. Why? Again, why do they need to be charitable and grateful to you? Well, in an obligatory way. So here's the thing. For me, listening to this, if you raise your child well and you and your child have a good relationship, typically that is going to show up in the relationship that you have with your child. There is going to be reciprocity. Your child will love you and you will love them. But usually, you're talking about something that is transactional. So if a child loves their mother and the mother loves their child, that relationship does not have to be, it should not be transactional, meaning that I shouldn't have to give you something just because you gave something to me. I shouldn't feel like obligated or indebted to you because you did what you were supposed to do as a parent. You don't get a special award for choosing to be a parent. I'm not sure where that thinking comes from. That is a decision that you make all on your own, you and whoever else was the other parent. Third, do you have this energy for the other parent who left? You're talking about they left and all these, responsibilities. Is dad helping and this and that? Whether or not dad is helping, do you have that energy of dad should help? Did you go after them for child support payments? And furthermore, why is that a question for your child? Your child is not responsible for the men who choose to leave your life or the man who chose to leave their life. They're not responsible for that. So I think by you sort of asking that question, the way in which it comes across to me, again, and I don't know you, but it comes across to me as very hostile. So if you have children and you sort of asking this question, I don't know if you're hostile with them over the fact that their father left. Fourth, you seem to be, from what you were mentioning in your post, you did it for your mother, and she didn't this and that and the other. Again, what does that have to do with what we're talking about here? That is a choice that you made to do with your mother. Why is it then because I did it, then you must do it too? It's a rite of passage for you to suffer or to do things that you don't want to do with your parents, despite it taking away from your livelihood, just taking away from your finances, and taking away from possibly, building your dreams and starting your life on a positive note. That is a choice you make, but why does that have to then carry itself on to your children? I'm not really sure what the logic is in that. And then you said that you were fine with doing it for your mother, but then this post paints I get a different vibe from your response to me, which is like almost like, angry about it. So why would there be all this emotion, if you were totally fine? And why does it your child's responsibility to carry a torch that you've had to carry, even though it wasn't a positive one, if that makes sense? So that to me, all of these expectations and passing blame and all of that, that's manipulation. That is not something where you could say, oh, or is he helping? Because if you're helping your mother, you as a mother with a child, it's still the responsibility on you to treat your child like a person. And so you could still talk to your child with respect and say, you know what, son, if you're hurting, son or daughter or whatever, hey, I'm having some trouble with finances. Is it, can you help me out? And then you determine a goal. They can either say yes or no, but at the end of the day, it should still be a conversation and a choice that's based on respect, not something that's based on control and misery, as you put up there about what happened with you and your mom about you being miserable. So again, I go back to, is this the type of relationship, the relationship that you have with your mother, is that the type of relationship that you want to have with your child? Is that something that you feel comfortable with? Do you look back on your relationship with your mom and feel like positive and all the things? And do you feel like that's how you want you and your child to do you want you and your child to have the same type of relationship? Because that is something that you do have the power to change, and recreate a different dynamic, not just something just because you did it and you had this experience, now they must do it. And the other thing is holding the man who left accountable in your life, if that was a scenario or situation, as opposed to passing that blame to your child for the simple fact that they are there. The person who left or mistreated you or skedaddled right on up out of there needs to be the one, to, face, the music for their act. I've also did a prior post some months ago last year, where I talked about women who hold their children more accountable than they do the men in their life, who come in and come out. Are you making your child more financially responsible than you do the men that were supposed to be in your life or their life? And this is not meant to be disrespectful. You don't have to answer. This is meant to be more of a rhetorical question, and just something you can think about if it upsets you. That can happen, and I don't mean it to be, but just some things since you responded. I hope this helps. Thanks so much.